Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Today I want to talk to you all about the Blood of the Dead Easter egg ending. Specifically, a couple of questions that I've seen asked all over my Twitter feed, my YouTube comments, etc. since I posted my reaction to the ending and I posted my main quest Easter egg guide and stuff like that. There's clearly a lot that happens in that final cutscene, and it's gonna take a while to truly digest exactly the meaning behind every single thing in there. However, right now, because, you guys know me, I'm absolutely obsessed with the zombie storyline, I've been following it since day one, and I know a hell of a lot about it, I figured it would be a good idea to break down what our initial takeaways from this can be. So the first question I've seen asked a lot is the Richtofen that we see dying here going to come back in any way? Is he still alive in that machine? Is he going to get revived by the Tranzit crew who are in the cryostasis pods in the lab that he's built underneath Alcatraz? And generally, is there any hope for our boy? The answer is he's probably dead for good. Now, obviously, because time travel's involved, because you can just rewrite the chronorium now apparently, that might not be the case. There is a chance, if Treyarch decided that they needed to, that they could just bring back that Richtofen and they'd be completely fine. But here's why I don't think that's going to happen. At the beginning of Black Ops 3, we saw a Richtofen die. It was much less emotional because we basically had no empathy for that character. The Richtofen that we see dying is a crazy German scientist who tortures little girls and is generally a nasty piece of work and has just tried to kill and is laughing about it in the middle of a research facility, and then he gets his head blown off. So we really just don't care that much. We also hear about hundreds of other Richtofens, thousands of other Richtofens who have died at the hand of Primus. And in the music videos that Treyarch have started putting out since Black Ops 3 for each of their maps, we see that there are lots of Richtofens dying in all sorts of scenarios, but there's never been a kind of situation where they've had to go back and go, oh, actually, we're bringing you back now, you're not dead after all, that sort of thing. I think that Treyarch recognize the importance of death meaning death in zombies. I don't think they're going to pull a superhero kind of trope and go, oh look, Wolverine finally died. Oh wait, he's back a couple of issues of comics later. That said, this Richtofen is obviously not the only Richtofen. There are a lot of Richtofens in the mix here, and so we don't need to be worried about not seeing that character ever again. That's obviously quite an important point to note. Post-Revelations Richtofen, who is the guy in the kind of chainmail who comes out during the cutscene, he has been to Revelations, he's been through whatever comes next, and then he's come back again and ended up here. And that's something that I'd like to talk about next. Question 2. Who is that Richtofen? Pretty much all of you are probably familiar with the Revelations end cutscene, where the characters from Black Ops 3, the Primus crew, get transported by Dr. Monty to a place that they've never been before, and it ends up being what appears to be the Great War. Primus are garbed in medieval clothing, and they're holding the elemental staves above their heads. It's extremely epic, really cool pose. We first saw it on the Primus scrap from Origins, so they've been planning it for that long. So this new Richtofen that we're seeing in the Blood cutscene, who seems to have gone through Revelations and then come out the other side and ended up in Alcatraz, must have lived through whatever events we are potentially going to see either in the DLC season for Black Ops 4 or in further comics or other media that Treyarch are going to put out detailing that patch of the zombie storyline that right now is a complete and total mystery. We don't know the ins and outs of exactly what that crew are going to do post-Great War. And so that's something that Treyarch can 100% explore in the future. By the way, while I'm working through these questions, if you guys want to leave more questions in the comments down below, I'm 100% happy to make further videos and more deep videos answering them. I just wanted to get my first thoughts out about Blood as soon as possible. So leave your questions in the comments down below, and I will get to them in my next couple videos. Question 3. What happens to the Tranzit crew? Now, this question probably requires me to do a little bit more of an in-depth video on exactly what has happened here. I can totally explain the entirety of this dimension for you guys, but it would take a little while, and so I think that a separate video on that would be better suited. The whole story of the Warden, who he's working with, why he's doing it, what he hopes to achieve, and whether or not he succeeds or not, is all something that I can explain for you guys, and I could probably do a whole chunk as well on exactly what happens to that Alcatraz pocket dimension after the characters leave. If you'd like to see that in a video, guys, then let me know, and I could basically post that one tomorrow. Just let me know. Going back to the question, though, the Tranzit crew could end up in one of two places. One possibility is that cryostasis in zombies might not be the kind of conventional cryostasis that we are used to. It's currently really hard to figure out why there's that new Richtofen in cryosleep in the lab under Alcatraz. However, if cryostasis somehow lets you travel through time, or somehow gives you some kind of properties in that vein, then there's a very good chance that the Tranzit crew could use similar transport and end up elsewhere. This is something that we seem to see alluded to in the comics, but it's somewhat ambiguous. Let me know if you want another video on this. Another option is that the Tranzit crew are now dead. They sacrificed their lives to secure the Chronorium for Richtofen so that they could transport it to him here and then enter cryosleep safe in the knowledge that they had done all they could to put the universe right. However, I don't think that they're now just going to be dead here forever. I think that that would be a weird way to kill off the Tranzit crew, especially because we hear Stuhlinger's voice in Richtofen's head during games of Blood of the Dead. But we don't know why those quotes have activated. This is still a mystery. People have heard Stuhlinger singing in Richtofen's head a song that I believe Nikolai sang on the moon. And that's something that I'm going to have to, again, make another video about because it's a whole big topic in itself. But that is a really rare bringing together of Ultimus stuff, Victis stuff, and Primus stuff, mixing it all together and ending up with this weird blend of Primus Richtofen hearing Stuhlinger when it's meant to be the other way round, and it's meant to be a different Richtofen entirely. It's just a crazy mashup. So clearly some kind of blending of the different sort of dimensions and worlds is happening here, and that's exactly what we know 115 to do. You hear throughout Black Ops 3 characters saying that they think that they're beginning to remember things, but their memories are not their own. And there's this weird crossover of the dimensions and worlds happening that they can't really explain. They can't wrap their heads around it. It's all a result of the fractures, the dimensional collapse, essentially, and the 115 that's absolutely everywhere at this point, plus all of the traveling through portals, all of the teleportation, all of it is just not good for you, man. Now, that also applies to the blood. A lot of people have asked me, and this will be question 4, why do they get rid of the blood vials? Well, when they introduced the blood vials in Origins, we didn't know what they were for. It was clear that a Primus Richtofen had got blood vials somehow from Alcatraz. It turns out that he actually gave them to himself from the future from Alcatraz, and he was holding on to them as some kind of insurance policy, but we were never really clear why. It was just said several times that the blood will protect you. It turns out now that we've got a clear scenario where the insurance policy in Revelations prevents the characters from being wiped from existence, and they get put somewhere where they've never been, like we said, in the Great War. So the blood vials, essentially, in that sense, completed their primary purpose. The blood vials also served a couple of other purposes, one of which being to turn the community's focus to the actual importance of blood in the zombie storyline. This is, again, a topic that I want to make a whole video on, so I'm not going to go into too much depth here just for the sake of getting to more questions in this video. But it's the blood that is the key to the characters being able to escape from Alcatraz. And so the result of that is that they leave and they don't need that insurance policy anymore because they're not going on to Gorod Krovi and then to Revelations and then to restart the cycle. So they don't need to dodge Dr. Monty in that same way. I think probably it would be worth just jumping onto the whiteboard real quick and doing a little swirly diagram to show you guys what I mean. Basically, we've got kind of Great War thing over here. I'm going to say that that is BO3 first half. Then we've got this gap where they go to Alcatraz, they come back, and then they go on to Gorod Krovi. From Revelations, we get that cutscene where Monty basically says, okay, send you a place you haven't been. pretty much fine. This is a really, really rough look at it. But now, they're quick zipping, but they're not going back again, because things have changed. The chronorium has changed, right? So they then essentially branch off and go in this direction. Now, clearly right now, we've got an interesting blending of things where one of the guys from the Great War, I'm going to call him Primus Prime Richtofen, I guess? Primus Prime Ricto from here has ended up meeting them at their quick zip in Alcatraz. And so there's probably some stuff in between here that we don't really know about just yet. I think I've actually managed to forget where I was going with all of this, so I'm going to wrap this question up here. Another question I saw that I'd like to briefly touch on and then elaborate more on in future was about Dr. Monty, right? Amongst all that stuff that we were talking about just back there, Monty introduced himself just here. And that's why Nikolai doesn't know who he is in the Blood of the Dead cutscene. He hasn't got there yet, Monty hasn't said hello. However, the Richtofen that has gone around here and then gone up like that has obviously experienced everything that Dr. Monty has said to him, has experienced Dr. Monty trying to get rid of them and send them back in time, has experienced his insurance policy working out, and then has experienced some other crazy stuff to get him to Alcatraz. And so that's why he is saying, yo, we've basically got to defeat Dr. Monty now. We've got big fish to fry this DLC season. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what's going on. I'm obviously going to be making a bunch of Black Ops 4 Zombies storyline content because, I mean, that's my bread and butter, really. As much as I love making guide videos, I love streaming, I love doing all that sort of stuff, I'm going to really try this year to impress you guys more than ever with the level of detail and accuracy and depth and flavor that I'm going to be putting into these Black Ops 4 story videos. If you're looking forward to that, with the mic in my face, mic on stream, unsubbed, then please subscribe, that would be great. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell, and I'll hopefully see you very soon in more Black Ops 4 Zombies videos. Thanks guys, bye for now.